In a classic dismal Disney desperation, Disney Plus is blatantly leaning into their Disney Plus Basics ad-supported tier. And while ads and streaming services aren't anything new, the real question here is whether the offering is worth the price. We're looking at that because recently there's been some changes in Disney's pricing strategy when it comes to Disney Plus, including an upcoming price change, which I expect will continually go up in the future. Let's jump in and evaluate this, shall we? Here we go. So with these changes, we're going to break it down into parts to evaluate what you can expect and what you get from Disney's current cash grab. Whether you're after an ad tier or an ad-free tier, I think this will help a little bit. We also need a comparison, so we're going to use Netflix since they're the largest fish in the pond and the most direct comparison to Disney. We're also going to be comparing just the ads versus no ads products here and avoid all the other tiers to avoid confusion. Let's start off with the ad experience itself. Now, besides the obvious content, ads on Disney Plus Basic are easily identifiable. They have a small ad box in the bottom left, and you see that all over the place. And they have a timer that's going to run and let you know about how much longer you're going to have to endure the advertisement. And unlike some platforms, you actually can pause the ads, which is, I guess, good. I don't know why you'd pause an ad, but you can't skip the ad, of course, because, hey, they don't want you to. Now, the progress bar is there to let you know where you are in your particular program, and it tells you where all the ad breaks are going to be. So you can actually plan or schedule your food and bathroom breaks. You also have a countdown on the ad itself, as I mentioned, so you'll be able to know just how long you have to make that sandwich. Now, if you're intrigued by any of the ads and you happen to be using a browser, you're in luck because there's a learn more option button thing that appears, and that will actually take you to the website directly. That kind of feature can't be implemented on things like the iOS app or I think a direct Windows app, so you won't have that. Whether that's good or bad is up to you. Compared to Netflix's ad plan, Disney Plus's ad placement is probably a little bit more predictable. It's like a television break that you're familiar with. You can generally expect ads at the start of your content with like 2 mid-movie or television breaks. There are exceptions to that, of course. Reportedly, there are some titles, like the big ones like Avatar and maybe some of the Star Wars stuff, that were ad-free, may still be, but there are some that just have a whole bunch of mid-break ads that you just can't get out of the way of. That's probably a lot to do with licensing because of like the Star Wars thing up until recently was kind of co-owned and they probably couldn't have legally run ads on that. So I have to say that might be some kind of change in the future. Now keep in mind, I'm giving you a generalization here because ad loads might vary, well, anytime. I mean, especially in the future as Disney Plus is going to grow its library to expand with more content, usually garbage and undercooked Star Wars and Marvel, but they could also add maybe some Hulu stuff in, but I doubt it. And in a rare win for parents these days, especially when it comes to Disney, ads are noticeably absent from the content that's aimed at younger audiences. This aligns with Disney's earlier statements, the promises that they made. So it's just the content in their shows that you need to evaluate for indoctrination of your children. Now, for the biggest question most consumers will have, is there a discrepancy in the content availability? And one notable aspect about Disney Plus Basic is that it seems to grant access to everything. The same shows and movies seem to be available, at least in my experience. The same things you're going to find in the ad-free tier. So unlike Netflix's ad-supported plan, there don't appear to be any restrictions in content, at least none that I've come across so far. Your mileage could vary. Now, it's not all wine and roses here because Disney Plus Basic does come with some downsides. Unlike the ad-free version, you can't download shows or films for offline viewing, which makes sense because how would they be able to target ads and deliver them to you since that seems to be an active part of that process. And this aligns, of course, with what Netflix was going to be doing also with their ad tier, which is also, missing that feature. Additionally, Disney Plus Basic isn't currently available on Roku, Windows desktop app, things like that. I think I probably mentioned that earlier, but it's worth revisiting. There's a lot of devices that could be excluded from even carrying these tiers. Most importantly, what's this service going to cost What's the price versus value proposition here? The question of whether Disney Plus with ads is a good deal boils down to its monthly pricing. You see, at $6.99 per month, Netflix Standard with ads offers a cheaper alternative than if you were to subscribe to their $15.49 a month ad-free version. Well, there you go. On the other hand, Disney Plus Basic is priced at $7.99 a month. That's $1 more than Netflix, which, well, Disney has a smaller catalog. Now, Disney Plus Premium, which is about to see a significant price increase on October 12th, believe it or not, coming right up, is going to be at $13.99 a month for the ad-free experience. And they seem to recognize that they are much smaller than Netflix, and that's reflected in that price. At least I think that's what that is. So it's time to draw some conclusions. You see, both Netflix and Disney want to make a decent percentage of their customers forced onto an ad tier just because of their pricing. I mean, that's what those pricing strategies reveal, and it's profitable. They, like many other streamers, have learned a lesson from what Discovery Plus did years ago. Ads pay. So much so that Discovery Plus ended up with one of the highest ARPUs on their ad tier product, and it's where most people went. It's a real difference. So of course, they also recently adjusted their ad tier price upwards, and when I say they, I mean Discovery Plus. So I'll have to evaluate that next quarter and see if they're still of value. In summary, Disney Plus with ads offers a fairly standard ad-supported streaming experience, yet the real consideration here is the pricing strategy. Now, Disney's absolutely desperate. Lots of dismal Disney stories lately you probably have seen on my channel. And streaming costs are going to rise across the board for years to come. So Disney's move to increase their price of the ad-free tier on an already barren content library is probably not sitting well with some viewers. So I would say that's probably why they chose to stand pat on their ad tier version. And going hand in hand with the video I released this last week about Star Wars being aired on free TV, what advantage do you actually get from signing up for the ad tier experience in the first place? Is it just the on-demand aspect, or the fact that you may not own some of these films that you want to see? I can't imagine people don't have a lot of the Star Wars films. So ultimately, as with all streaming things, it comes down to weighing the pros and cons of the various plans available. As such, I think there's three questions as consumers I would ask you. Are ads a deal breaker for you when it comes to streaming services, or are they just a minor inconvenience? Because some people don't really mind. Do you think Disney's pricing strategy for its ad-supported tier makes sense? I mean, are there certain shows and movies you'd be willing to watch ads for if it means a lower subscription cost? See, I don't know. I don't know what that means to everybody. And finally, if you get a chance, decide whether or not that $13.99 price is going to change your mind on any of this stuff. Anyway, feel free to give me your answers down there in the comments section below. And go ahead and hit that like button while you're down there. And check to see if that button is red or gray that says subscribe. You might want to turn that little red button, if it's red, to gray. And give me a subscription, because I'm on my way to 15K and I would truly appreciate that. Be sure to take care of yourself, of course, and take care of others. And until next time, see ya!